I want to talk about the conservative movement against Donald Trump. Hugh Hewitt is here, the host of the Hugh Hewitt Show. You know, this is becoming a regular date on Friday night, Hugh, so let's talk, shall we?
Don, I was watching your storm coverage right now. I think I saw a White Walker from Games of Thrones going through there. But I have to ask you, do you know what we call this storm in Ohio?
What do you call it in Ohio?
Spring.
Oh, my God.
We call it spring.
Easy for you to say, sitting in a warm studio in Irvine, California, where the temperature is probably in the 70s or 80s. All right, let's get to business.
All four of my grandparents are from Ashtabula, Ohio. They would scoff at this. Scoff, I tell you. But anyway, good to be here, Don.
All right, it's good to have you. So I know you like to say that you're in Switzerland and all of this, but what's your reaction to so many of your conservative... First of all, give me your reaction. Did you hear Michael Mukasey on he said that Donald Trump would be a disastrous president, and that's why he sort of signed on to do this.
Well, General Mukasey had a great op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today, in fact, on the likelihood of an indictment of former Secretary of State Clinton, so I was glad to see him on your show tonight. There are lots of people in the National Review issue. I'm not one of them. I am the Switzerland of radio shows. All GOP candidates are invited onto my show. But there are some very unusual pairings in there. A lot of people have endorsed a lot of different people. They all came together with I think, a first ever magazine issue devoted against a man as opposed to against an idea or for an idea. Endorsements are common at National Review. They endorsed Marco Rubio, for example, for Senate 6 years ago. So I was very surprised, but every one of them is an individual of integrity and standing. And so I think Donald Trump has to go through each of their arguments and respond to them, and I expect he will. He is on Twitter tonight, by the way. Even as we are sitting here, Donald J. Trump is on Snowmageddon land.
Shocking.
And he's a blizzard of tweets.
Yeah, shocking. Bet. He's always on Twitter. He's ubiquitous on Twitter. So he's always a counterpuncher. I want you to listen to what he is saying about this onslaught off of Twitter. Listen to this.
The National Review is a dying paper. Its circulation's way down. Not very many people read it anymore. I mean, people don't even think about the National Review. So I guess they want to get a little publicity.
So there's some irony in this because he is knocking the magazine, but he used, remember William F. Buckley, the magazine's New York founder, as an example to counter Cruz's New York values attack.
Well, that is not necessarily inconsistent because you can be for Buckley and against the successors to Buckley, but I would disagree with Mr. Trump. Jim Garrity, Rich Lowry, Kalo, Catherine Jean Lopez, Eliana Johnson, they're highly esteemed reporters within the conservative movement. That having been said, I don't think it's decisive. I don't think that people coming out and endorsing Donald, whether it's Sarah Palin or endorsing Ted Cruz, whether it's Glenn Beck, are decisive. I think what's decisive are individual voters and whether they turn out. If they have this kind of a snowstorm in Iowa in 10 days, Don, Ted Cruz is going to win because of his turnout machine. I think he's going to win anyway, but if Donald Trump wins Iowa and New Hampshire, that's one big freight train that all the magazines on the right won't be able to stop.
I'm wondering, that's what I was going to say, I'm wondering if this is going to help or hurt him because the layest Fox News national poll out tonight, Hugh, has Trump with a 14-point lead over Ted Cruz, but I mean, both clearly the front runners over the rest of the pack. And you spoke with Marco Rubio, didn't you? What is he saying about the state of this race?
I had a full hour with Marco Rubio today. I had Chris Christian yesterday, Kasich and Carly earlier. Donald Trump's coming on next week. I'll talk to them all, but I will say this. I am bragging. I've done 150 of these interviews right now. There are two divisions. There's a National League, and in that, Cruz and Trump are playing each other. There's the American League, which have got Rubio, Christie, Jeb Bush, Carly Fiorina, John Kasich. And the American League uses the designated hitter because those people are all hitting each other with bats. But there will be a winner out of that Cruz and Trump contest, and there will be a winner out of the other division. And whether or not we get down to 4 or 5 by March 15th, I can't say, but I do think an establishment candidate or a neo-establishment candidate or someone not named Trump or Cruz, that's the easiest way to put it because I don't know what these things mean anymore. There will be someone to challenge them on March 15th. I just don't have a clue. Marco Rubio said Jeb Bush's attacks on him smack of desperation. He also said that he believes Hillary Clinton's going to be indicted. And by the way, yesterday on my show, former Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense Robert Gates said he was a very high degree of probability the Russians had hacked the former Secretary of State's server. So I brought along your shirt, Don.
Yeah, I know.
I've got your shirt right here.
Because you managed to get Hillary in there for your very first answer, and you're ending with it, and you brought the shirt. Nice job, Hugh Hewitt.
I brought the shirt.
You're on your game tonight.
Yeah, well, the arrow is pointing towards indictment. That's what that is pointing towards, Don. That's why it's your shirt. You should have taken it in Las Vegas.
You've lost your mind. Thank you. Stay warm there in this snowstorm. Stay warm in Irvine, California.
California, I will.
Hugh Hewitt, I appreciate